Kang Tae wiped the grease from his hands and stared at the reactor panel in front of him. Another 14-hour shift fixing power conduits on Station Horizon 7. The work was boring, but it paid well enough. Most importantly, it kept him away from Earth and the questions people always asked about his strange condition. He had been different since birth. Doctors called it a genetic anomaly. His body generated electromagnetic energy naturally like a living battery. As a child, he would accidentally short out electronics when he got excited or upset. His parents spent years teaching him control. By adulthood, he could touch a dead battery and charge it with a thought. He could feel electrical currents flowing through walls. But he never told anyone. People feared what they did not understand. The station alarm suddenly blared through the corridors. Tae dropped his tools and ran toward the observation deck. Other workers were already there, pressing against the windows. In the distance, massive shapes emerged from the darkness of space. Ships, dozens of them. But these were not human vessels. The ships looked organic, like they had been grown rather than built. Their hulls curved and twisted in impossible ways. Lights flickered weakly across their surfaces. Even from this distance, Tae could see they were damaged. "Badly damaged, what are they?" someone whispered. Station Commander Hayes' voice came through the intercom. "All personnel remain calm. We have made contact with an alien fleet. They are requesting emergency assistance. This is first contact protocol. Everyone stay at your stations." Tae felt his heart racing. First contact. Humanity had searched for alien life for centuries, and now they were here, right outside his window. The largest ship moved closer to the station. It was the size of a small city. Parts of its hull were scorched black. Entire sections looked like they had melted. The lights inside were dying. An hour later, Tae found himself in the main docking bay with dozens of other station workers. Commander Hayes had called for anyone with engineering experience. The aliens needed help, and they needed it fast. The airlock hissed open. Tae held his breath. The first alien to step through was tall and elegant. Her skin had a faint silver glow like moonlight on water. Her eyes were large and completely silver with no visible pupil. She wore a uniform that seemed to shift colors as she moved. Behind her, more aliens emerged. All of them looked exhausted. "I am Captain Vela of the Vellani Empire," the silver-eyed alien said. Her voice was musical but carried weight. "Our fleet is dying. We have been fleeing war for 3 months. Our power cores are depleted. We have women, children, and elderly on these ships. We need energy or we will not survive another week." Commander Hayes stepped forward. "We will help however we can. Our engineers are at your disposal." Vela's silver eyes swept across the gathered humans. There was desperation there, hidden beneath her composed exterior. "Your technology is primitive compared to ours, but we are grateful for any assistance." Tae found himself assigned to a team examining one of the Vellani power relays. 2 more aliens joined them. One introduced herself as Nira, the chief engineer. She had crimson markings running down her arms and neck. The other was Lisa, a diplomat with skin that looked almost crystalline in certain light. Nira explained the problem through a translation device. "Our quantum fold drives require immense energy. We pushed them too hard during our escape. The cores are burned out. Your power sources are too weak to even begin recharging them." Tae examined the relay carefully. It was unlike anything he had ever seen. The technology was advanced beyond human understanding, but as he touched the cold metal he felt something, a faint pulse. The device was trying to draw energy from somewhere, anywhere. Without thinking, Tae pressed both palms against the relay. He closed his eyes and let his power flow. It was instinct, something he had done 1,000 times with human technology. Energy poured from his body into the alien device. The relay suddenly blazed with light. Nira stumbled backward, her eyes wide. Lisa grabbed Tae's shoulder. "What are you doing? How are you doing that?" Tae pulled his hands away, startled by their reaction. The relay was now glowing brightly, fully charged. I have this condition. I can generate electrical energy." The 2 alien women stared at him, then at each other, then back at him. "Take us to Captain Vela," Nira said urgently. "Right now." 10 minutes later, Tae stood in a conference room facing Vela. The captain had brought several other Vellani officers with her. They all watched him with intense interest. "Show me again," Vela commanded. They had brought a damaged power cell from one of the ships. It was the size of Tae's torso and completely dead. Tae placed his hands on it and concentrated. His energy flowed into the alien technology. The cell hummed to life. its core glowing brighter and brighter. When he pulled away, the power readings showed something impossible. The cell was not just charged. It was overcharged, holding more energy than its original design capacity. Vela's composed mask cracked. Her eyes filled with something between hope and disbelief. In 10,000 years of Vellani history, we have never encountered a biological being who could interface directly with quantum fold technology. Your energy signature is perfectly compatible with our systems. That's good, Tay said uncertainly. You do not understand, Lisa said softly. You just saved our entire fleet. With your help, we could restore our ships to full power. We could survive. Nero was already working on calculations. If he could charge the primary cores of just our flagship, we could generate enough power to jump to a safe system. From there, we could rebuild. Vela stepped closer to Tay. He noticed how tall she was, nearly a foot taller than him. Her silver eyes seemed to look into his soul. Kang Tay of Earth, you have given us hope when we had none. By the ancient laws of my people, you have saved Vellani lives. This creates a debt that cannot be repaid with mere gratitude. I'm happy to help, Tay said. You don't owe me anything. You do not understand our ways, Vela said. The life debt is sacred. When someone saves a Vellani ship and its crew, they become bound to us. And you are not just capable of saving one ship. You could save our entire civilization. Something in her tone made Tay nervous. What does that mean exactly? Vela exchanged glances with Nira and Lisa. When she looked back at Tay, her expression was serious. It means, Kang Tay, that you are far too valuable to let go. My people need you, and under Vellani law that makes you ours. The room suddenly felt very small. Tay looked at the three alien women surrounding him, at Vela's determined expression, at Nira's calculating gaze, at Lisa's sympathetic but unwavering stare. I don't belong to anyone, Tay said quietly. That, Vela replied, is something we will need to discuss. The meeting room on the Vellani flagship was beautiful and strange. The walls seemed to shimmer with soft light. Tay sat in a chair that had adjusted itself to his body shape. Across from him sat Vela, Nira, and Lissa. Behind them stood several other Vellani officers, all watching him with intense interest. Let me explain the life debt clearly, Vela began. When a Vellani ship is saved from destruction, the savior earns the loyalty and gratitude of that crew. They are honored, rewarded, given a place among our people. This is ancient tradition. That sounds reasonable, Tay said carefully. However, Vela continued, your situation is unique. You did not just save one ship. You have the power to save our entire fleet, our entire species. The Vellani High Council has been consulted. They have made a decision. Tay felt his stomach tighten. What decision? You must be claimed by the Empire, Lissa said gently. It is not slavery. You would be honored, protected, given anything you desire. But you cannot leave. You are too valuable, too necessary for our survival. You're saying I'm a prisoner, Tay said flatly. You are saying you belong to yourselves, Nira corrected. We are saying you belong with us. There is a difference, Tay stood up quickly. I'm a human being. I have rights. I have a family back on Earth. You can't just claim me like property. Vela's expression softened slightly. We understand this is difficult. But consider our position. Millions of Vellani are depending on these ships. We have children who will die if we cannot reach safe harbor. Elderly who are already sick from the journey. You have the power to save them all. Then I'll help you, Tay said. I'll charge your ships, get you somewhere safe. But then I go home. The three women exchanged looks. Finally, Lissa spoke. We have already contacted your human government. We have offered them an alliance. Advanced technology. Military support, scientific knowledge. In exchange, they have agreed to encourage your cooperation. Tay felt cold. They sold me out. They made a practical decision, Vela said. One human in exchange for uplifting their entire species. From their perspective, it is logical. And from your perspective? Tay demanded. Vela met his eyes. From my perspective, you are the difference between my people living or dying. I will do whatever is necessary to ensure their survival, even if it means keeping you against your will. The honesty was brutal, but Tay appreciated it more than pretty lies. He sat back down heavily. So I have no choice. You have choices, Nira said. You can cooperate willingly, and we will make your life comfortable. Or you can resist, and we will still use your abilities, but everyone will be miserable. including us. We do not wish to be your jailers. We wish to be your partners, Lissa added. The integration protocol is designed for this. We will teach you to control your abilities better, to channel them more efficiently. In return, you help us survive. And my family? Tay asked quietly. Already being compensated, Vela assured him. Your parents will receive more money than they could spend in 10 lifetimes. Your sister's education will be fully funded. They will be protected, honored as the family of a hero who had no choice. Tay muttered. Sometimes heroes do not get to choose, Vela said. Sometimes they are simply needed. The integration protocol began the next day. Nira worked with Ty in the engineering bay, teaching him about Volani technology. The quantum fold drives worked by bending space itself. They required precise, massive energy inputs. Ty's power was perfect for this, but he needed to learn control. You are like a fire, Nira explained as they worked. Right now you burn bright but uncontrolled. I will teach you to focus, to direct every spark exactly where it needs to go. Despite his situation, Tay found himself fascinated by the technology. Nira was an excellent teacher. She was patient when he made mistakes and genuinely excited when he succeeded. Her crimson markings would glow brighter when she was pleased with his progress. Lisa spent time teaching him Volani culture and language. She explained their history, their laws, their customs. The Volani had once been a peaceful species focused on art and philosophy. Then the Kraith Dominion had come, a species that consumed entire worlds for energy. The Volani had fled rather than fight a war they could not win. We are refugees, Lissa said sadly. Everything we built over thousands of years is gone. These ships and the people on them are all that remains. Tay felt his anger soften slightly. They were not villains. They were desperate survivors doing what they thought necessary. Bella spent the most time with him. As fleet commander, she oversaw his training personally. She taught him combat basics, explaining that he needed to protect himself. She showed him how to meditate, to control the flow of his power even under stress. You resent us, Vela said one evening as they practiced in the training room. I understand. But know this, Tay. I would trade places with you if I could. I would give up my freedom if it meant my people could survive. But it's not your freedom being taken, Tay pointed out. No, Vela admitted. It is yours, and I'm sorry for that. Truly. But I am not sorry for doing what must be done. Weeks passed. Tay charged power cores every day. The Volani ship slowly came back to life. The flickering lights grew steady. The dying engines began to hum with power again. He could see the relief on the faces of the crew members he passed in the corridors. Children who had been pale and weak now ran and played. Elderly Volani who had been preparing for death now made plans for the future. His anger had not disappeared, but it had become more complicated. These people needed him. They were not lying about that. One night, Nira found him on the observation deck staring out at the stars. You are thinking about home, she said. Always, Tay replied. She stood beside him quietly for a moment. My family died when the Kraith attacked our homeworld. My mother, father, younger brother. I was off-world at an engineering conference. I survived because I was away. Tay looked at her. I'm sorry. I tell you this not for pity, Nira said. But so you understand. Every Volani on this fleet has lost someone. Home, family, friends. You are our second chance. Without you, those losses mean nothing. With you, they can mean something. We can rebuild. That's a lot of pressure, Tay said softly. Yes, Nira agreed. It is unfair, but life is often unfair. The question is what we do with the hand we are dealt. The next morning, Tay was working on a particularly difficult power core when alarms suddenly blared throughout the ship. Red lights flashed. Vela's voice came through the communication system. All personnel to battle stations. Enemy ships detected. Kraith Dominion has found us. Tay's blood ran cold. The enemy that had destroyed the Volani homeworld was here. Lisa burst into the engineering bay. We need to jump to fold space immediately. But the navigation core is not fully charged. We need you now. Tay did not hesitate. Whatever his feelings about captivity, he would not let innocent people die. He ran with Lissa to the bridge. Vela stood at the command console, her face grim. 3 Kraith destroyers, she reported. They drain energy from everything they touch. Our weapons will be useless against them. How long until they reach us? Tay asked. 10 minutes. Can we jump away in time? Only if you can fully charge the full drive core in less than 5 minutes, Nira said from her station. It normally takes an hour to charge properly. Tay looked at the three women, at Vela's determination, at Nira's desperate hope, at Lysa's barely concealed fear. Then he looked at the view screen, where he could see other Vellani ships full of families. Get me to the core room, he said. I'll give you your 5 minutes. The full drive core room was massive. A sphere of pure crystalline energy floated in the center, held in place by magnetic fields. It was beautiful and terrifying. Right now, it was also nearly dead, glowing with barely a flicker of light. Tay placed his hands on the access panel. He could feel the core's hunger for energy. It was like touching a dying star. This is going to hurt, he muttered. We have 4 minutes, Nira said tensely. Tay closed his eyes and let his power flow. Not gently, not carefully, but like opening a floodgate. Energy poured from him into the core. The sphere began to glow brighter. His body shook with the effort. It felt like his bones were vibrating. Core at 30%, Nira called out. 3 minutes left. Sweat dripped down Tay's face. His muscles burned. This was more power than he had ever channeled before. Way more. How much do you need? Minimum 60% to jump. Vela's voice came through the communication system. 80% to be safe. No pressure, Tay gasped. He pushed harder. The core blazed brighter. 50%. 2 minutes. Tay's vision started to blur. He could taste blood in his mouth. But he did not stop. He thought about the families on the ships. The children. The elderly. He thought about Nira's dead family. About Vela's desperate determination. About Lissa's fear. 70%. 1 minute. The Kraith ships are firing, Vela announced. Brace for impact, the ship shuddered. Alarms shrieked. Tay nearly lost his grip on the panel, but he held on. Just a little more. Just a little more. 90%, Nira shouted. Tay, that's enough. You need to stop. I can do better, Tay forced out. He pushed everything he had into the core. The sphere became blindingly bright. 110%. Tay, stop. You will kill yourself. Tay pulled his hands away and collapsed. The last thing he saw before darkness took him was the core burning like a small sun. He woke up in the medical bay 2 days later. His entire body felt like it had been hit by lightning, which in a way it had. Vela sat beside his bed, her silver eyes filled with concern. You are an idiot, she said softly. Did we make it? Tay croaked. Yes, you gave us enough power to jump 3 star systems away. We are safe. For now. Vela reached out and took his hand. You also nearly killed yourself. The doctor said your heart stopped twice. Your nervous system was overloaded. You should not have pushed that hard. Had to, Tay said. People needed me to. People need you alive, Vela countered. A dead hero saves no one. Over the next few weeks, Tay recovered. The story of what he had done spread through the fleet. When he walked through the corridors now, Vellani stopped and bowed to him. Children wanted to touch his hand. Elderly Vellani wept and thanked him. His fame spread beyond the fleet. News reached other alien species. The human who could power Vellani ships became a topic of galactic interest. And with interest came danger. The assassination attempt came without warning. Tay was in the engineering bay with Nira, working on efficiency improvements. The door opened. A Vellani security officer walked in, except something was wrong. His movements were stiff. His eyes were vacant. Nira, get behind me, Tay said quietly. The officer's body suddenly jerked. His mouth opened, but the voice that came out was not his. It was mechanical, layered. The human must die. The Vellani must fall. Kraith mind control, Nira gasped. They can puppet corpses. The officer pulled out a weapon. It glowed with sickly green energy. He aimed it at Tay and fired. Tay dove aside, but he was not fast enough. The blast was going to hit him. Vela crashed through the door at a full run. She threw herself between Tay and the blast. The energy struck her chest. She went down hard, smoke rising from the wound. No! Tay scrambled to her side. The wound was horrible. It was burning through her, eating away at her from the inside. Nira tackled the controlled officer from behind, disabling him with some kind of nerve strike. But Tay only had eyes for Vela. She was dying. He could see it in her fading silver eyes. Stay with me, Tay begged. He placed his hands on her wound. Without thinking, he pushed his energy into her body. Not into machines this time, but into her. trying to jumpstart her failing organs, trying to give her his life force. Something incredible happened. His energy did not just revive her. It synced with her nervous system. For a brief, overwhelming moment, Tay was not just Tay. He was also Vela. He felt her memories crash through his mind, her childhood on a world that no longer existed. Her training as a warrior. The day the Kraith came and she watched her planet burn. The weight of command. The fear of failure. The desperate hope when she met him. And beneath it all, something else. Something she had been hiding. She cared about him. Not just as a tool or a resource. She cared about him as a person. The thought of him dying had terrified her more than her own death. Tay gasped and pulled away. Vela's eyes snapped open. She sucked in a deep breath. The wound was still there, but no longer burning. She would live. What did you do? She whispered. I don't know, Tay admitted. Are you okay? Vela sat up slowly. She looked at him with new understanding. You felt it. My memories. My emotions. Yes. Then you know, she said quietly. You know what you mean to me. Nira knelt beside them. We need to get you both to medical, and we need to find out how the Kraith got one of our people. The investigation revealed disturbing truths. The Kraith had agents throughout the galaxy. They had been hunting the Villani for months, and now they knew about Tay. Worse, human mega-corporations had been selling information about him. Military factions from multiple species wanted to capture and study him. Tay was not just valuable to the Villani anymore. He was valuable to everyone, and that made him a target. Lissa came to his quarters that evening. Her crystalline features looked troubled. The High Council wants to move you to a secure location. Somewhere hidden, they fear another assassination attempt. A prettier prison, Tay said bitterly. I argued against it, Lisa said. I told them that keeping you locked away would only make you resent us more. But they are frightened. You are the key to our survival. Losing you means losing everything. I'm a person, not a key, Tay said. I know. Lisa sat down across from him. I have been negotiating with the human government and the Villani High Council. I am trying to get you real rights, real autonomy. But it is difficult. Both sides see you as an asset to be controlled. What do you see me as? Tay asked. Lisa was quiet for a moment. I see someone who gave up his freedom to save people he did not know. I see someone brave and kind and frustrated. I see someone I have come to deeply respect. Respect is not the same as freedom, Tay pointed out. No, Lisa agreed. But it is a start. Days later, Nira presented Tay with a new device. It was a bracelet that would help him control his power flow more precisely. This will also monitor your health, she explained, so you cannot push yourself to death again. You all seem very concerned about keeping me alive, Tay observed. Of course we are, Nira said. She hesitated, then added more softly. And not just because of what you can do. You have become important to the fleet, to us. Tay noticed the change in how the three women treated him. Vela no longer just gave orders. She asked his opinion. She sat with him during meals. She told him stories about her life before the war. Nira worked alongside him as an equal, not as a supervisor. She laughed at his jokes. She shared her grief about her lost family. Lissa included him in diplomatic meetings. She valued his input. She made sure others treated him with respect. They were no longer his captors. They were becoming something else, something more complicated. One evening, all three of them came to his quarters together. They looked nervous. We need to discuss something, Vela began. The neural synchronization when I was dying. It created a bond between us, a connection. I felt it too, Nira added. When we worked together in engineering, there is something there. The three of us have discussed this, Lissa continued. In Villani culture, bonds between warriors and crews are common. Sometimes they are romantic. Sometimes they are partnerships. But they are always based on choice and respect. Tay's heart began to beat faster. What are you saying? Vela stepped forward. We are saying that what started as obligation has become something more. At least for us. We do not know what you feel, and we would never force this. You have had too much choice taken from you already. We care about you, Nira said simply, not as a tool, as a person. We want to offer you a real bond, Lisa finished, as equals, as partners, but only if that is what you want. Tay looked at the three alien women standing before him. He thought about all they had been through together. About Vela throwing herself in front of a blast for him. About Nira's gentle teaching and hidden grief. About Lissa's tireless advocacy for his rights. "I need time," he said finally, "to think." "Take all the time you need," Vela said. "This is your choice. Only yours." 3 weeks passed. 3 weeks of Ty working with the Vellani, charging their ships, learning their technology. 3 weeks of spending time with Vela, Nira, and Lissa. 3 weeks of realizing something he had been trying to deny. He was falling for them. All three of them. Vela's fierce strength and hidden vulnerability. Nira's brilliant mind and gentle humor. Lissa's wisdom and quiet compassion. They had become the most important people in his life. And the question they had asked him burned in his mind every day. The Vellani fleet was now fully restored. Ships that had limped into human space barely alive now moved with grace and power. But restoration brought new concerns. Long-range sensors had detected something troubling. The Kraith were coming. Not a small force. A full invasion fleet. "They are 3 weeks away," Vela announced in the war room. Human military officials attended via hologram. Representatives from several allied alien species were present. 50 ships. Maybe more. "If they reach human space, Earth will fall, just like our homeworld did." The human admiral on the hologram looked grim. "Our weapons are useless against Kraith technology. They drain energy from everything. Nuclear missiles, plasma cannons. Everything we fire just feeds them." "Then we need a new approach," Tay said. All eyes turned to him. He had been thinking about this for days. The Kraith drain energy. But what if we gave them more energy than they could handle? What if we overloaded them? Nira leaned forward, interested. "Explain." "My power can charge Vellani tech beyond normal capacity. We saw that with the full drive core. What if we created weapons designed to overload, to dump massive amounts of energy into Kraith ships faster than they can absorb?" "It might work," Nira said slowly. "But you are only one person. You cannot charge weapons for the entire fleet during battle." "What if I was not the only one?" Tay pulled up data on his tablet. "I have been researching human genetic records. My ability is not unique. It is rare, but not unique. There are others like me. 12 that I have found so far. Humans with electromagnetic abilities who thought they were just broken." The room erupted in discussion. The human admiral was skeptical but interested. Vela looked at Tay with something like pride. Lissa was already making calculations. "This could work," Lisa said. "If we can recruit and train these humans. If we can develop hybrid weapon systems. If we have enough time." "It is our best chance," Vela decided. "Make it happen." The next 2 weeks were chaos. Tay traveled to Earth for the first time since his capture. He met the 12 humans who shared his ability. They were scattered across colonies and cities. A factory worker in Seoul. A student in New Delhi. A farmer in Brazil. A doctor in Lagos. All of them had hidden their abilities, afraid of being different. "I know how you feel," Tay told them. "I spent my whole life hiding what I could do. But now the galaxy needs us. Earth needs us. And I cannot do this alone." One by one they agreed. Some were excited. Some were scared. All of them were willing to try. Training was intense. Nira designed special equipment to help them channel their abilities. Vela taught them to work under pressure. Lisa helped them understand what they were fighting for. Tay worked with each of them personally, showing them techniques he had developed. A young woman named Hana learned the fastest. She was from Busan, quiet and serious. Her control was even better than Tay's. A man named Day from Earth's moon colony had raw power that was staggering. Together they became a team. Nira worked around the clock developing new weapons. Hybrid human Vellani technology that combined the best of both species. Ships with power cores that could be charged mid-battle. Energy cannons designed to overload Kraith vessels. Every design was tested, refined, and tested again. During a late-night work session, Nira set down her tools and looked at Ty. "Can I ask you something personal?" "Sure," Tay said. "Have you made your decision?" "About what we offered?" Tay was quiet for a moment. "I think so. But I am scared." "Of what?" "Of losing myself. I have had so much choice taken away. If I choose this, if I bond with you three, I want to make sure it is really my choice. Not obligation. Not gratitude. Not just because I am trapped here anyway." Nira nodded slowly. "That is wise. And for what it is worth, we would not want you if it was not real. We have lost too much already. We cannot bear losing something else to lies or duty. What have you lost? Tay asked gently. Nira's crimson markings dimmed slightly. My betrothed died in the first Kraith attack. He was a teacher. He stayed behind to evacuate children from a school. The building collapsed before he could get out. Her voice cracked. I have not let myself feel anything since then. It hurt too much. But then you came along, and you made me want to feel again. Tay reached out and took her hand. I'm sorry about your betrothed. He sounds like he was brave. He was. Nira squeezed his hand. You remind me of him sometimes. The way you put others first, even when it costs you. That night, Tay found Lisa on the observation deck. She was staring out at Earth, which hung in the distance like a blue marble. Beautiful world, she said. Worth fighting for. Yes, Tay agreed. Lisa, can I ask you something? Always. Why did you argue for my rights? You could have just gone along with the High Council. It would have been easier. Lisa turned to him. Because keeping you as property would have been wrong. And because, she hesitated, because my partner died 5 years ago. She was killed protecting a civilian transport during our evacuation. I swore then that I would never let fear make me cruel. That I would always choose compassion even when it was hard. Your partner was a woman? Tay asked. Yes. In Vellani culture, gender matters less than connection. We love who we love. Lisa smiled sadly. She would have liked you. She always had a soft spot for stubborn idealists. Is that what I am? Yes. You insist on being treated as a person even when the entire galaxy wants to treat you as a weapon. That takes courage. Vela found Tay the next morning in the training room. He was working through combat drills, something she had taught him. She watched for a few minutes before speaking. Your form has improved, she noted. I had a good teacher, Tay replied. He stopped and faced her. Can we talk? Of course, they sat on the training mats. Tay took a deep breath. I felt your memories when we connected. I saw what the Kraith did to your world. I felt what you felt. That weight you carry, the responsibility for your people. I understand now why you did what you did. Why you claimed me. Does that make it right? Vela asked quietly. No, Tay said honestly, but it makes it understandable. You were choosing between your people dying and taking away my freedom. I do not know what I would have done in your place. I think about it every day, Vela admitted. What we did to you. What I did. And I wonder if I am becoming like the Kraith, taking what I need regardless of the cost to others. You are nothing like the Kraith, Tay said firmly. The Kraith destroy without conscience. You agonize over your choices. That is the difference. Vela looked at him with those silver eyes. I know we asked you for a decision. About bonding with us. I want you to know, even if you say no, I will still fight to get you real freedom. Real rights. You deserve that. What if I say yes? Tay asked quietly. Vela's breath caught. Do you mean that? I have been thinking about it constantly, Tay admitted. And I realized something. You three have become my family. Not because you claimed me. Not because I am stuck with you. But because you care about me. You see me. The real me. And that is rare. I am saying yes, Tay interrupted. But on my terms. We are equals, partners, no more claiming or owning. Just us choosing each other freely. Vela smiled. It was the first time Tay had seen her truly smile. It transformed her face. Equal partners, she agreed. I can work with that. The formal bonding ceremony happened 2 days later. It was a blend of Earth and Vellani traditions. Tay wore formal human clothing. Vela, Nira, and Lissa wore ceremonial robes that shifted colors. The entire fleet attended via hologram. In Vellani custom, bonds were sealed with a neural link. Each of them placed their hand on a crystalline device. Energy flowed between them. Not controlling. Not taking. Just connecting. Tay felt their emotions as clearly as his own. Love, hope, determination, fear of loss, joy at his acceptance. In Earth custom, they exchanged promises. Vela promised to respect his autonomy. Nira promised to stand beside him, not above him. Lissa promised to fight for his rights as fiercely as she would fight for her own. Tay promised to give his best to their shared future. To trust them. To let himself love without fear. When it was done, they were bonded. 4 souls connected, 4 people choosing each other freely. That night, the sensors detected the Kraith fleet entering human space. "They are here," Vela announced. "Earlier than expected. Bigger than expected. 100 ships, not 50. Everyone looked at Tay. At Hana, Day, and the other humans with abilities. At the hybrid weapons they had built. At the alliance they had forged. "Are we ready?" the human admiral asked. Tay looked at his 3 partners. At the fleet they had restored. At the team they had trained. At Earth hanging vulnerable in space behind them. "Ready or not," Tay said, "it is time to find out what humans can really do." The Kraith fleet emerged from fold space like a nightmare made real. 100 ships, each one dark and angular, covered in organic-looking armor that seemed to writhe and pulse. They did not reflect light. They absorbed it. Looking at them was like staring into holes in reality. Tay stood on the bridge of the flagship beside Vela. Around them, the command crew worked frantically. Nira was in the engineering bay coordinating power distribution. Lissa was managing communications between the allied fleets. Human ships, Vellani vessels, and 3 other alien species who had agreed to help, all united against the Kraith threat. Hana, Dai, the others. "Are they in position?" Tay asked. "Confirmed," Vela replied. "Each of your people is on a different ship, ready to charge weapons on your signal." "Then let us show the Kraith what happens when they pick a fight with Earth," Tay said. The Kraith attacked first. Green energy beams lanced out from their ships. Everywhere they struck, lights dimmed. Power failed. The Kraith were draining energy just like the report said. 3 human destroyers went dark immediately. "All ships activate hybrid weapon systems," Vela commanded. "Energy-charged humans, begin power flow now." Tay placed his hands on the weapons control console. He felt his power surge through the ship's systems. All across the fleet, Hana, Day, and the others did the same. Hybrid cannons that Nira had designed lit up with brilliant blue energy. "Fire," Vela ordered. Energy bolts screamed across space. They struck Kraith ships and kept going, pumping massive amounts of power into them. For a moment, nothing happened. Then the first Kraith vessel began to glow from the inside. Brighter. Brighter. It exploded in a burst of green and blue light. "It worked," someone shouted. "The overload strategy works." But the Kraith adapted quickly. Their ships began dispersing in different patterns, making themselves harder to hit. And their return fire intensified. A Vellani cruiser took a direct hit. Its power core went completely dead. The ship began to drift. "We need to charge faster," Tay said. "Harder." "You will burn yourself out," Vela warned. "Then I burn out," Tay said. "What is the alternative? Let Earth fall like your homeworld did?" Vela's jaw tightened. She nodded once. "Do it!" Tay pushed harder. Energy flowed from him like a river. The weapons charged faster, fired more often. Kraith ships began exploding in clusters, but there were so many of them. For every one destroyed, 2 more took its place. Hours passed. The battle raged on. Tay was exhausted. His body shook. His vision blurred, but he did not stop. Across the fleet, he could feel Hana, Day, and the others pushing just as hard. They were all reaching their limits. "Tay, you need to rest," Nira's voice came through the communication system. "Your vital signs are critical." "Not yet," Tay gasped. "Just a little longer." Then the sensors detected something new. Something massive was emerging from fold space behind the Kraith fleet. "What is that?" Vela demanded. The view screen zoomed in. Tay felt his blood turn to ice. It was a ship. No, not a ship. A mobile fortress. It was the size of a small moon. Its surface was covered in thousands of energy-draining weapons. The Kraith dreadnought. Lisa's voice was shaken. "Intelligence reports said it was destroyed years ago." They lied. It still exists. The dreadnought began to move, slowly, ponderously, like a predator that knew its prey could not escape. It fired a single massive beam. The beam struck Earth's moon. The moon began to dim. The Kraith were draining the moon itself. "If they drain the moon, the energy will allow them to drain Earth next," Nira said. "And then the sun? They will consume this entire system." Panic spread through the fleet. Ships began to retreat. Even Vellani warriors looked terrified. The dreadnought was too big, too powerful. How could they fight something like that? Tay looked at the monster on the view screen. He thought about Earth, about his family, about the billions of people who would die if he failed. He thought about Vela's homeworld burning, about Nira's family dying, about Lissa's partner sacrificing herself. He thought about all the people who had given everything so others could live. "I have an idea," Tay said quietly. Nira, do you still have those experimental quantum fold bombs? The ones you said were too unstable to use. Yes, but Tay, those bombs require more energy than our entire fleet can generate. They were a failed experiment. They need more energy than the fleet can generate, Tay agreed. But what if they had me? Silence fell on the bridge. Vela turned to him slowly. No, absolutely not. That much energy would kill you. Probably, Tay admitted. But it would destroy the dreadnought too. And save Earth. There has to be another way, Lysa said urgently. There is not, Tay said. You know it, I know it. This is the only way. Vela grabbed his arm. Her silver eyes were fierce. I did not bond with you just to watch you die. I will not allow this. It is not your choice, Tay said gently. It is mine. For the first time in months, I get to choose, and I choose to save as many people as I can. Then you do not die alone, Nira said. Her voice came through the communication system, firm and resolved. Volani have neural linking technology. We can share the energy burden across multiple people. Distribute the load. That would kill you too, Tay protested. Better than living in a universe where we let you sacrifice yourself, Nira replied. I am coming to the bridge, Lisa announced. If we are doing this, we do it together. You are all insane, Tay said, but his voice broke with emotion. Yes, Vela agreed, but we are your insane partners. That is what bonding means. We face everything together. 10 minutes later, they were ready. Tay stood in a modified engineering bay with Vela, Nira, and Lisa. Around them, neural linking equipment hummed with power. The quantum fold bomb sat in the center of the room, a sphere of contained destruction. Outside, the Kraith dreadnought had finished draining the moon. It was turning toward Earth. Once we activate the link, there is no turning back, Nira warned. The energy required will flow through all of us. It will hurt. A lot. I have survived worse, Vela said. Together, Lisa added. They each placed a hand on the neural linking device. The connection snapped into place. Suddenly, Tay was not just Tay. He was Vela feeling fierce determination. He was Nira calculating trajectories and energy flows. He was Lisa sending prayers to gods she barely believed in. They were one mind and four bodies. Together, they reached for the bomb. Together, they poured energy into it. Not just electromagnetic power now, but life force itself. The bomb began to glow, brighter and brighter. The pain was incredible. It felt like being burned from the inside, but they did not stop. Bomb at 50%, Nira's voice said, though it was unclear if she spoke aloud or just thought it through the link. The dreadnought fired at Earth. The beam struck the planet's atmosphere. The sky over the Pacific Ocean began to darken. 70%, Nira reported. But your hearts are failing. All of you. Keep going, Vela commanded. Through the link, Tay felt her memories. Her mother teaching her to be strong. Her first command, the day her world died. She had survived so much. She would survive this too. They all would. 90%. Launch the bomb, Tay said. Now. The bomb shot from the ship, accelerating toward the dreadnought. It was tiny compared to the massive fortress. A speck of dust approaching a mountain. The Kraith did not even bother to shoot it down. 100%, Nira whispered. Detonation in 3, 2, 1. The bomb exploded. For a moment it looked like nothing happened. Then space itself seemed to tear. A sphere of pure white energy expanded from the bomb. It hit the dreadnought and kept expanding. The fortress began to fold in on itself, its metal screaming as the quantum fold reaction consumed it from within. The dreadnought tried to drain the energy from the bomb. That was its mistake. There was too much. Far too much. The fortress glowed brighter than a star. Then it collapsed into a single point. Then it was gone, just gone, as if it had never existed. The remaining Kraith fleet panicked. Without their dreadnought, they were vulnerable. The Allied fleet tore into them. Within an hour, the battle was over. The Kraith were destroyed or fled. Earth was saved. Tay woke up 5 weeks later. He was in a medical facility on Earth in a hospital in Seoul. The first thing he saw was Vela sitting beside his bed. She looked exhausted but alive. The others? He croaked. Nira is in the next room. Lisa is 2 doors down. We all survived. Barely, but we survived. Vela smiled. The doctor said it was impossible. That the 4 of us should have died. But apparently we are all too stubborn for death. Over the next weeks, Tay recovered along with his partners. The war had changed everything. The human government formally apologized for trying to force him to work with the Volani. The Volani High Council abolished the life-debt ownership laws. New treaties were signed based on partnership and choice, not desperation and control. Tay, Hana, Day, and the others with abilities were no longer freaks or tools. They were celebrated as the Bridgeborn, humans who could connect with advanced alien technology, who could bring species together. Universities offered them scholarships. Companies offered them jobs. Governments offered them positions. Tay turned them all down. He had a different idea. 6 months after the battle, New Horizon Station opened. It was built in orbit between Earth and the Volani fleet, a place where humans and Volani could live and work together, where technology from both species was combined and improved, where the Bridgeborn could train others with similar abilities. Ty served as one of the station's leaders, along with Vela, Nira, and Lisa. They were no longer captor and captive, no longer owner and owned. They were partners, equals, family. One evening, Tay stood on the observation deck with his 3 partners watching ships from both civilizations dock peacefully at the station. Human families coming to meet Volani friends, Volani students attending Earth universities via shuttle, children of both species playing together in the station's parks. "We did this," Nira said softly. "We built something new. We survived," Lisa added, "when everything said we should not. We chose each other," Vela finished. "And that choice changed everything," Tay smiled. He thought back to the lonely maintenance engineer he had been less than a year ago. That man would never have believed this future was possible, would never have believed he could be this happy. "What are you thinking?" Vela asked. "That sometimes the worst things lead to the best things," Tay said. "You captured me. You took away my choice. But somehow through all of that we found something real, something worth fighting for. Do you regret it?" Nira asked quietly. "What happened?" Tay considered the question carefully. "I regret how it started. I regret the fear and anger and helplessness. But the ending? The 4 of us standing here alive and free and together? No, I do not regret that at all." "Good," Lisa said, "because we are not done yet. There are more species out there who need energy solutions, more people we can help, more bridges to build. Then let us build them," Tay said. Together, and they did. In the years that followed, New Horizon grew from a single station to a network spanning dozens of systems. The Bridgeborn trained hundreds of humans with abilities. Human Volani technology advanced at incredible rates. Other species joined the alliance, attracted by the promise of partnership over domination. The Kraith returned eventually. They always did. But they found something they had not expected. They found a galaxy united. They found species who fought together, who shared technology and resources, who saw strength in diversity rather than uniformity. They found Earth. And Earth, backed by her allies, was not prey anymore. Tay lived a long life. He saw things he never imagined, did things that seemed impossible, loved deeply and was loved in return. When he was old, sitting in his quarters on New Horizon with his 3 partners beside him, someone asked him what he had learned from all his adventures. "I learned that freedom is not just about having choices," Tay said. "It is about choosing well. I learned that family is not always blood. Sometimes it is the people who stand beside you when everything falls apart. And I learned that sometimes the universe puts us exactly where we need to be, even if it does not feel that way at the time." "Any regrets?" the interviewer asked. Tay looked at Vela, at Nira, at Lisa, at the life they had built together. At the station full of humans and aliens working side by side, at the stars beyond the windows full of endless possibility. "Not a single one," he said.